Hey guys, welcome to the Scratch tutorial. This is just the beginner lesson 1, so I'm going to go ahead and open up Scratch. When you open up Scratch, the cat will appear. A lot of people usually go ahead and delete him and create their own game. So to delete, you would click on the scissors and click on the cat, and it will get rid of the sprite. You have your characters are called sprites. You have some that are already pre-made in this folder, and then this one would open up like a paint program where you can draw your own sprite, which you'll be using a little bit later on in the next game, which would probably be Pong. But for right now, let's go ahead and choose a new sprite. You have all different folders that has all different types of sprites in them, but we're going to click Animals and open up the Animals folder. So these are already preset sprites that the Scratch program has made for you. We're going to go down to actually go back up to Dog 2B. Okay, Dog 2B will appear, and you have a middle section over here, and this section is where you would write your scripts. Okay, if you want the dog to walk forward, then you would have to click and drag some of these puzzle pieces over into the dog's script. Let's go over some of the panels here. We have the control panel, which is your most popular. You have the motion, which is also very popular, and then we have looks, sound, pin, sensing, operators, and variables, and they all do different things. To get this to play, you have your start button. It says start green flag. This kind of starts your game for you, and then you have the stop button that will stop your game for you. If I click, nothing's going to happen because I don't have the dog walking or a script made for him. So I'm going to come over here and I'm going to say when the green flag is clicked, I want the dog to move 10 steps. Okay, but whenever I do this and I click on the green flag to start my game that I'm making, notice that he's not moving 10 steps. I just click one time and yes, he moves, but he doesn't go 10 steps. The reason for this is because we need to go back to control and we have to put a forever block in so it will continuously keep moving. The forever block is a very popular block that you're going to be using a lot. Okay, when I click now, let's see what happens. Okay, he's walking off the screen and he doesn't come back. So I'm going to hit stop and drag him back over. So if I don't hit stop, this is what happens. And I drag him back over, he's going to keep going. So I hit stop and move him back over. If we want him to come back to us, then we would have to add another block to our puzzle piece. So I'm going to go to motion and click if on edge bounce. And now let's see what happens. Okay, he's going back and forth now, but he's turning upside down. So this is real easy to fix, so I'm going to hit stop. If you come up next to your dog's sprite and you click this button where it says only face left and right, you click it one time, then you hit play, he will stay upright and just go left to right. Alright, so we have our dog moving left to right, not turning upside down. Now we need to make it look like he's actually walking. So if I go to costumes, you're going to see Dog 2B. I want to go to import and insert another dog. Notice how their feet are different, and whenever you do a flip book and you flip back and forth really fast between these two pictures, it would look like that he's walking. So I'm going to click this one and click OK. And then you saw that he moved his feet just for a second. Okay, even if I hit play right now, nothing's going to happen because I haven't told it to switch costumes back and forth. So it's not going to switch back and forth. So after I've imported my two costumes, I'm going to go back to script. And now I have to make a code telling the dog to switch costumes. So if I go over to looks and I say next costume, or you could use this one as well, but this one's just as easy since you only have one other costume, and you put that on there and you hit the flag button, you're going to see that he's walking and he's going pretty fast, actually too fast. So you need to go back to control and slow him down a little bit. So if you add a wait 1 second block and you change the number from 1 to 0.1 and hit enter and click the flag, now it looks like he's walking at a normal pace. Now a couple more tricks that we can do with a dog is we can make it look like his tail is wagging. So if we go back to costumes, and you can edit either one of these, just go to edit and it comes up with your paint editor that has different tools that you can do, and you can scroll across each one to see which ones they do. But it wants you to do the select tool, come over here by its tail and draw a rectangle. And release your mouse. Then it wants you to use the flip vertical tool to flip his tail. So then we can drag his tail and put him back on and click OK. So now when I hit play, notice in the picture that this tail is down, this one's up. Now it's going to start going back and forth between the two like a flip book, and his tail is going to be wagging back and forth. So we have the dog walking, the tail going back and forth. Now let's put a background on. So if you click Stage and you go to Import, you have different stages that you can put on. Let's go ahead and put an outdoor playground on. Anytime I want to shrink the dog or make him bigger, you have these tools up here next to the delete. So if I say grow sprite, I click here and I can make him grow, or I can shrink him down to whatever size you think looks more realistic. And then just click off your screen to move him down on the floor where you want him. Once you have this, you can go ahead and get rid of this white background and hit play, and now he's walking in the park. Alright, just to add a couple more things to this game, I'm going to add a parrot, and I'm going to have him fly around the screen. So I'm going to go and import a new sprite and go down to Parrot, and there's only 2 parrots to choose from, so I'm going to go ahead and import both of them. So I'm going to go to Parrot 1A, and then I'm going to go to Costumes, and I'm going to import the second parrot going this way, not back over here again, but go to Import just like we did the dog, the second dog, and we'll do B. So whenever this starts flipping like a flip book, it's going to look like he's flying. Now my bird is too big, he's on top of my dog, so I'm going to move him in the air and I'm going to shrink him down a little bit. Now when I go to scripts on the parrot, notice that all the scripts are gone because I'm not on the dog sprite, I'm on the parrot. So I got to write scripts to make him fly. So I'm going to go to the control panel, and instead of saying when clicked, I'm just going to say when something is pressed, because I don't want him to automatically start flying whenever I start the game. So I'm going to go when, and then let's start with up. The up arrow is pressed, then he's going to go up. So I have to go to motion. I want him to move 10 steps just like we did the dog, and I want him to go up, point in direction, and you have 90 degrees, you have -90, you have 0 and 180 degrees. They make it easy for you because there's an up right there, and you come down over here to up. So you got to set it to 0. Just repeat the process on this for the down arrow. Motion, move 10 steps, point in direction, pull this down to where you see down, and that should be 180. So let me do left and right real quick. There's a way where you can copy this where you don't have to keep dragging them over, but I just like doing it this way. Plus, the more times you do it, the better you are at it. Just like the dog, we're going to have to click this button, but let's see to make sure. I'm going to hit play, let the dog walk. The bird's going to stay still because I didn't say when this was clicked. So only when these are pressed, the bird will fly. So let's try it, left and right. There's right, left, uh-oh, he's upside down. And he's kind of going all over the place. So let's go ahead and hit this button right here to see the difference. And now let's go up, down, and then right. So now all we got to do is put in the script to make them change costumes. So that was pretty easy. We do it just like the dog. We can say under looks we need to switch the costume. And add these to the script. Now let's fly them around. Alright, just a couple more things that you can add to make this a little bit better. You can have the dog speak. So let's go back to the dog and let's make him bark. So if we go to sounds and import, you have different sounds that you can put in these games. So I'm going to go ahead and keep it on animal, and dog 1 will bark. Click OK. Now he still will not bark because I don't have a command set. So when is he supposed to bark? When I hit a certain key, so I have to set it up that way. So I'm going to say, go to scripts on the dog, when, just like we did with the parrot, and let's do spacebar. The spacebar is pressed, go to sound, and then play sound dog 1. So when I hit space, he barks every time I hit the space key. On the parrot, if I change scripts, I can have him say, please don't bark at me. So I can say control, when the space is clicked, just like we had when the space was clicked to make the sound on the dog. We can have the parrot say for 2 seconds, or say however long you want, maybe 1 second. You can replace hello and say, please don't bark at me. And let's just change it for 1 second. Maybe it doesn't stay up as long on our screen. So space, and then it goes away after 1 second. There's some other things that you can do. I've seen done on this game before, and that's the bird. The bird can change color whenever you fly him around if you want him to. And that's all in the looks section, so you can kind of see what there is. So you can say change colors, and there's different effects. So I've seen people put different effects on their parrot and make them change colors, but for this project there's no need to do that right now, but just kind of showing you what else you can do under the looks. Our next project will more likely be Pong. It's a little bit more advanced than this one. This is just the beginner, but hopefully you've learned something on this, and we will see you on the next one.